Oh, I think it was on the wrong screen there. That's better. Checking everything. 1, 2, 3. Snappity snap. All right. I think that's good. I can unplug my mouse. It's been charging, so it doesn't need to be tethered. Here's my Adobe Audition. And I have already gone through all the processes. These are just the final touches now. This was on July 4th. A live session on TikTok apparently, and it said like the end improv is good. So I was like, okay, we'll go here and process this audio. So we did. And now I'm just making sure my levels are nice and in that yellow-red zone, you know, and where it peaks makes all the other parts a little bit more quiet. And I'm talking about like this segment here. So what I'm gonna do is, I think from here I can get away with a scrubby-doo and find that little spot right there. That's where the note starts. So let's go before it. Scroll, there it is. So come over here, and I'm looking at both sides, the left and right, and here we have a nice double zero. They're both at 0. So that's a perfect spot to grab and start selecting things to the left. Zoom out a little bit more, grab that and drag more to the left. Zoom out more, grab that, drag it all to the left. And there, now I've got, and from that point on, I can amplify it by like, you know, a good 2.4 before it's like truly noticeable. Now if I go to where that spot is, I can start playing it from here, deselect that, and yeah, you can get away with that. So now that stuff here that was, you know, in like the lower yellows is more in the upper yellows. And then this end part gets a little hairy too. So I'm thinking if I'm looking at this correctly, it looks like this one has a good spot that we can get away with it. So we're gonna, hey, zoom out. Where is that spot? Over here, let's zoom in. And I am looking at it. Yeah, I think this is the spot we want. So let's do the same thing. We scroll. Right there's where the note hits. So we go back a little bit before that and we compare the waveform and we find the nice double zero beforehand. And that looks like a good spot. So we can take from here to the right and do the same thing. Zoom out, come over here, zoom. And then from here, we can take this stuff and we can nudge it another like 2.1. That should be good. Now, if we come back here, go before that spot, deselect, and check it. Yep, you're able to get away with that. So now the audio is a little bit more balanced. And then from here, we go to the beginning of the track, and I like to have like a 0.5 to 0.6 second barrier. So the first note hits at 5, so I'm going to go to 4.4 and delete everything before that. Oh, that's right, because it's still referencing from this, so we don't need this anymore. That's done its job. So now we come here and we go to the beginning. That's good. And then we go to the ending, to the last note, and we find where we want repeat 1 to happen. Oh gosh. One more time. There. So a little bit after that. That should be the spot. So we'll delete all that. Go to where we can see the last note to the end. There it is. And then we grab our little fade tool, go to that last note, and give it a nice linear value that looks good, and then do the same thing again, but halfway over there. And then that'll give it enough decay and fade. And then it'll restart for a good repeat 1 for Zen. Yeah, that's a good repeat 1. Now I can open up my metadata. Oh wait, this is the wrong file. This is the file I want to be working in. Everything here, undo. You know what? Just close that and don't save anything. It was this one we wanted to do that too. She's okay. We're going to the beginning. That's got the 0.6 break. So I already did all that here. And in this one, this is what we're doing. Finding that endpoint here. There. So we're going to do it here. Okay. Sorry about that. I was doing the wrong thing. Maybe I need to go back to that other track and do this. No, that's just waxing in an actual and being nitty gritty about things. Hey, Jeffrey. How's it going? That's too long. Okay. So we don't need this stuff here. So now we'll just do another one of these here. Okay. So this was July 4th on TikTok Live. Gotta put it on my metadata. And then this is... Wait. The album, the July. I gotta put that stuff in there. So put that in there. There we go. Now let's go back to the beginning. Sorry. Start over. Now. It needs a name. Let me turn the volume up here for you guys. So this was July 4th after the fireworks. I was like, all right, all the hoopinally is done. This is 10:55 p.m. when the live stream started. This is the end, about like half an hour, 40 minutes into it. And it was just like, we need to feed Earth energy after all that boom, 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 and chaos and ruckus that happened all day on Independence Day, because our pocket of Earth, we're all the parade line, and we're right in front of where the fireworks get launched for our time. this is a Mindry's Elixir. That's what we're going to call this one. July. Wait. Mindry's Elixir A. Elixir A. Yes. And then this is no longer an MDO2, so we delete that. And we leave that as Night Session Live TT, so I know where it comes from. And this is Mindry's Elixir A. And this is Night Session Live TikTok Improv. Okay. And that's the uncompressed waveform. Now we save it again, but this time we call it MP3. And then we change that to 44 116-bit. And then we browse and go into the July Patreon folder. Okay, and we save it there. And that's where the MP3 version gets saved. It's compressed down to 44 116-bits. So it goes from like a 107 megabyte file down to 32.99 megabyte file. So that's the compression. Now we can find some track art. And I got new pictures that I uploaded to Google Drive and downloaded that I photoshopped. We'll use this one. This can be a Mindry's Elixir. Or should it be this one? Or with the dragonfly. Maybe we want the butterfly milkweed. Let's do the butterfly milkweed. Okay, now we go into Patreon. And I made a post on Patreon in my chat room to let everybody know that I was live doing this now. So we're going to go into create an audio post. And we are going to browse here and find Mindry's Elixir. There it is, Elixir A. Mindry's Elixir A. There we go. Now we can upload it again. Mindry's Elixir. Oh, whoops, I misspelled that. Ah, ha, 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 ha. We are going to have to delete that and then go into Adobe Audition here. And Control S. There we go. And then once we go and we close this, there we go. Then if we go into this and we go here, we can trash that. And then we go into audio, browse, and we find Mindry's, and then we change the name here. We go like that, and we change it to IR, to Elixir. Gosh, what is wrong with me? Elixir A. There we go. And now, hey, why did it change to that picture? Cancel. Try that again. Mindry's Elixir A. There we go. Now it's doing the right stuff. And then we do that again. Mindry's Elixir A. Gosh, computers work. Oh my goodness. Brain work. Do the job. You can do this. And this is going to be tomorrow's daily piano. So we're going to say 7/13/2025 daily piano. And we are still now in actual 432 hertz. The new era. It's actually really good. So selected tiers. It's the 13th. That's a pretty divine day, and I haven't done one for everybody. So this one will be for everybody. So we'll schedule that one for 5:30 in the morning. 5:30 in the morning, first thing when I wake up. And then we're going to be back on target and see if I can maintain my everyday first thing in the morning drops. I've been late the past couple of days just because I've been sleepy and falling asleep and doing other things. And yeah. So there, we got today's posted this morning. And then I got tomorrow's now pre-scheduled to drop first thing in the morning. And I did put today's on the, make sure I have it here. July daily piano. I did put today's. There it is. Da, 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 da. There we go. Oh, I don't have my phone camera on. Where did I put that? Oh, that doesn't matter. I'm going to have to quickly fix a few things here. Sorry, let me fix a few things here while that plays. Turn the volume down a bit here. Okay. So if I don't have my phone, we can take this one and increase the size here. And we can take this one and decrease the size here. And if I hold Alt, I don't need to have all of this. And that can move that way. If I hold Alt, I can move this a little bit that way. Which allows me to do Alt here a bit. Bring this here. And I can bring this up this way. Because you guys don't need to see the chat box room. And now from here I can do this. And let's make this a little smaller and drag that up so that way it's more readable. There we go. That'll work. So that can be for today here. I can look here and you guys can see this here. And I still have this camera here. And then I still got that one here. And if I go here, this still works. So you get that there. Okay. Just, gosh, computers and settings and all that jazz. Get some water going here. Playlist for the daily piano playing. If you're on Patreon, you get access to those unlisted links. So I don't need my headphones anymore, and we don't need the Patreon anymore. we just need Adobe Audition. So before we do anything, I'm going to close everything. And we're just going to count to 3 to let Adobe Audition reset. And if I hit it again and open it, everything that I had copied and pasted and did, like all that memory is wiped. And now my computer should function really good. So I can turn off the metadata. I can hit Control-Shift-N, and that opens up a new file, and hit Shift Space. Now I can just record. And whatever happens, it's recorded. And if I get anything good that I can use it. If not, I can always delete it. That's how I'm able to do daily piano releases. It's a thing. So I'd like to do a quick shout out to all my amazing patrons on Patreon. So I have tiers, and my upper tiers are my delightful daisies, my rare roses, and you guys are so generous. You know, my mom, number one, she's up there on the top, Gracie, and her husband, Ron. They're in Montana. I'm here in Montego, Minnesota. But I'm very lucky to have the support of my mom. A lot of people, you know, they're trying to do their thing and be who they are, and parents don't like. My dad, I never really had his blessing, and he always hated me. But my mom loves me, and my mom has always been supportive of me to do what I do and be who I am. And I'm very lucky to have her. I would also like to point out here, some of these people that are on the list, they send me messages and they're like, I'm sorry, I have to lower my tier, you know, because of life, you know, and they're no longer delightful daisies. They're now fantastic flowers, and some of them went down to the lower tier for the daily piano seedling, so they only get the unlisted playlist and a few MP3s a month. And that's just the way it goes, you know. It's like, and I always tell them, you don't have to apologize ever for having to lower your tier or cancel for a little while. Like, there are only so many things that people can give money to, and I'm just honored to have been one of the people that received your support for a period. Every pledge, month to month, helps keep this alive. As little as it seems, it adds up, you know, like, I'm very honored to actually have a following and really good supporters. So I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for the amazing supporters that I have. So for those of you who are tuning in and watching this for free on YouTube, I've been doing this for my whole life. Only during the pandemic did I make the switch to like being online and doing things. But before the pandemic, and before my life-altering car accident that changed everything for me, I used to just play live all over the place in local places and do weddings, and you know, I had my little CDs that I would sell, and you know, I just did my thing. You know, it's what I did. And then the pandemic happened, and then I had a life-altering car accident, and there's a whole story that goes behind it. And I was persistent. I was like, I gotta do something. I gotta shift. I can't be lugging my equipment and going live and doing stuff anymore. So I went all in on Patreon and just said, you know what, I'm just gonna record. So I substituted all my live equipment and got studio equipment and saved up money little by little. They were with me on this journey, from the little Tascam to the laptop to getting a good legit computer and being able to plug in my microphones into the computer and do what I'm doing right now. This took, you know, years to get here. And I'm still doing things and experimenting with stuff. But thank you to Patreon. If you are a creative of any sort, I highly recommend you start, because Patreon for me started as a diary, logging my recovery, my healing, my piano playing, as I had to start back from the beginning and, you know, make my right hand work and then make my left hand. And when I got my feet back and I could use pedals, I had to like do physical therapy and get myself up to snuff. And now I'm back after years of, you know, 2 steps forward, a few steps back, a few steps forward, a few steps back. That's the healing process. It's never completely linear, because you're always pushing yourself to get back to work and do things, and then you hurt yourself again and you have to recover. And then once you finally like learn your own P's and Q's and where things lie, listen to your body, feeding it right, learning how to say, no, I can't do that. That's out of my physical spectrum. Like, so for me, because I had herniated L5S1 discs that I was recovering from and had like abdominal stuff from the cancer and the tumor removal. Then when the car accident happened, I was holding onto the left steering wheel with my, because I'm a lefty, and that was down and my foot was on the brake and the seat belt. I was at a red light and the guy didn't realize the light changed and he was going full sport, threw me across. I'm lucky to be alive, but here I am now. I am here now. So I've been working on deprogramming myself and healing myself, mind, body, and spirit. And that's what birthed the daily piano for mind, body, and spirit, is through this healing journey. I found all these things. I've been doing it my whole life outside of normalcy. I've always believed in frequency and vibrations, but then I started doing like energy work with Reiki and crystals and acupuncture, and really taking like things like yoga and qigong really seriously, on top of like the stuff that I already did spiritually and herbally and all that kind of stuff. So my next goal was to get my piano down tuned to 432. I know how to tune pianos. I went and I refurbished upright pianos. I had an apprenticeship and I learned it all. But I've never worked on grand pianos. I can tune a grand piano, but I can't do the action. But I have a guy who did the action and made my piano basically like feel and work like new. And this past few weeks, June and July, I've been slowly bringing down this piano from like 2 hertz at a time, tuning it down. And now this A is at 432, not 440. And I based everything off of this A and tuned to Gmajor7. So I made Gmajor7 sound good in comparison to that A to make that. So that's where I set my temperament to. And then I filled in my blanks to make the C. And then from there, I went to make G to minor, and then made my C to minor, and then my F to minor, and did those notes, with the G dominant, or G dominant 7th, where is that? And then from there, the Ds, and then, then it was B flat. No, I already did B flat, A flat, F to F minor, and then C sharp A's. So you make your A to A major, and you work on those, and you make those sound good, and then you end up with a in A440. So that's what I've been working on for a very long time here. Because when I first started doing daily piano years ago, in 2023, 2022, I did this, 2022, I did this chakra album because I was just like working with my chakra systems and finding out about frequencies and where things lie. And that's when I learned that this scale, G major 7th, is the divine chakra scale from root to crown. And then you have your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's your chakra tones. And if you tune A to 444, your G hits a solfeggio tone of 396, and C hits a solfeggio tone of 528. But I work with plants and I'm working with earth, and my first and foremost thing was to tune A to 432. When you tune A to 432, that's the solfeggio tone that you're focusing on, and that goes to your solar plexus chakra and sacred chakra. Sacred. 47. It's a little bit higher. Like the direct sacred is 417, and once you go up a little bit higher and you start riding that Merkaba line, it's 432, and that's the earth universe frequency resonance. And when you make things harmonize with that, suddenly your water, your wood, your plants, your earth is being fed beautiful vibrations. A440 doesn't hit any of the solfeggio tones, just so you know. So now that my grand piano I've gotten down tuned, my upright piano is an old one from 1954. It's been around the block. It can handle being beat up. It's already kind of got some splits on the soundboard, like in the back somewhere. So, but she still sounds good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slowly up-tune her to 444, so that way she'll hit the 396 and 528 solfeggio tones for the root chakra and the heart chakra. That's root and heart. that will harmonize with the human body vessel, root, and heart chakra, things that we really need to work on. And that's A444 hertz tuning. Because before my piano was too normal, standard, equal temperament, 440-ish. I let it go off, like I stopped caring about the numbers and let the temperament do what it did. And I gave it its own temperament, and sometimes it was at 439, then I just let it stay at 439. Then I said, you know what, let's just keep dropping it. So we did it. Sorry, rambling. So I'm gonna dial in here. I've been rambling for a long time. Do I really need all this? Yeah, we'll keep recording.
Shake the apples from my family tree. So when the autumn comes to take the leaves, we'll write history books from memories that we shared and we'd forget. Well, I don't remember 2012. But I heard the world would turn to hell. And compared to that, well, I'm doing well. So I pray to God, it really did. Well, they always ask you not to leave. And I am as they remember me. So when all my friends forget my name, No, I won't come back and be the same. And I'm gonna be myself again.
So that was my take on Will Wood and the tapeworm's Self. I do have a tutorial for that on my YouTube channel. It's actually like my most viewed video, and I love that song so much. Will Wood and the tapeworms, brilliant stuff. That whole album, Self, is just boom, just beautiful. But that song in particular, Self, there's the Ish. I still need to work on memorizing those lyrics, but Self is a wonderful mantra and spell to cast on yourself, to remember to be yourself and, break those family, cycles, be the cycle breaker, be yourself. So part of my deprogramming, reprogramming process with my mind, I did a lot of mental health therapy and EMDR to deal with traumas and childhood stuff that left me. Those are stories for another day. Stories for another day. But Hallelujah is a beautiful song, and it really helps develop the voice, and you can play a lot of stuff, and playing it in the divine key of G, and then changing the lyrics ever so slightly, because Hallelujah really is like the most anti-Christian song, just so you know, and it's always so funny, when you hear people singing it, and they're like, "Oh, it's my favorite song." It's like, do you even know what those words mean? Do you know what kind of spell Leonard Cohen is casting? Which is another one of those like self-actualize and reclaim your power and that kind of stuff. So Hallelujah, my way, in the key of G, with always do things your own way. That's all I can say. Just be yourself, do things your own way. So here we go.
was a secret chord that David played, and it pleased the Lord. But you don't really care for music, do you? It goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, the major lift, the baffled king composing hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Your faith was strong, but you needed proof. You saw her bathing on the roof, her beauty and the moonlight overthrew you. She tied you to a kitchen chair and she broke your throat. She cut your hair and from your lips she drew the hallelujah, 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 And maybe I've been here before. I know this room and I've walked this floor. I used to live alone before I knew you. And I've seen your flag on the marble arch, and love is not a victory march. It's a cold and it's a broken hallelujah, 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 There was a time you let me know what's real and going on below, but now you never show it to me, do you? Remember when I moved and the holy dark was moving too, and every breath we drew was hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. And maybe there's a God above, but all he ever learned from love was how to shoot at someone who outdrew him. It's not a cry you hear at night. It's not somebody who's seen the light. It's a cold and it's a broken hallelujah, Hallelujah.
I need to quickly do something here. Control Shift S. Today is the 12/20/25, and we are waning gibbous. Is it Pisces or Aquarius? I want to say it's Pisces, but it might be Aquarius. I don't know. But waning gibbous. This is live 7/12. So I need to go into that folder for recording sessions. So here's the July free rights. Go here. So this is 7/12/2025, and then I can make sure I put the moon phase there later. So there we go. And I need to make sure that I mark improv at end good ish. I think it might be something I can use. So save that so I have it, and then I can process that to be the daily piano possibly for Monday. That was interesting. Okay, normally I go right into blue, but I did something different. So it is what it is. You know, roll with the punches, and that's how we produce and make things happen on Patreon for my collective. There we go. Now we got a new file and we're recording. And we can come back to the station here. We're back in studio world. Mm. Had to record that and save it before anything happens. Like if something happens and I'm like, oh my gosh, that was great. Um, and I always try and tell this to all my musician friends, like I'm old, okay? Like, and in the early 2000s when I was in college, and I'm a dropout by the way. I went to art school and I dropped out, okay? But that's another story for another day, another time, another crowd. But back then we were recording on ribbons. It was like the dawn of digital, but digital still had to be done on DAT tape. You know, those digital audio. They were weird, okay. And you have like soundboards, and we were still like exporting things out onto like VHS tapes for our reels and all that kind of stuff. DVDs were still like a new thing, and so it's different, you know. Like back then, you only had so much space, and like digital could only record so much. You were still recording analog, and then converting to digital to like make your final outputs and all that kind of stuff. But now we have pure digital that's super high quality, and I record at 96,000 hertz, 24-bit, which is really good. I mean, this thing is capable of like 192, and I could record in a floating 32-bit and a multi-track, but 24-bit 96 is good enough that I can process and get really good sounding stuff and then master it down to, because at the end of the day, all MP3s come down to a 44.1 16-bit for CDs and all that kind of stuff for waveforms and for MP3s. And then from there, you upload to streaming services and all that kind of stuff with even lower quality that's been made for streaming, that's like 8-bit, 16 kilohertz, whatever. Like it is what it is, but you always try and do the highest quality because being here is even different compared to listening to the raw recording. Like I'm never gonna be able to capture how it sounds if you were to actually sit in the studio with me on the couch over there with your bare feet on the hardwood floor where everything is emanating from. Like I play barefoot because I'm Filipino, Puerto Rican, and we were a no shoes in the house household. So I learned how to play even at my grandma's house on her piano, no shoes in the house. So I'm used to being barefoot. And you can just feel everything. But I need to continue my spells. Music is spells, and I tell everybody this. When you sing songs that are stuck in your head, when you listen to music, those words that repeat in your head to the music, even though you're like jamming out and you're playing music, whatever those words are saying, your subconscious doesn't know any different. So take a moment to look at your lyrics and the songs that you sing along with and jam out to. Like a good song's a good song, and don't get me wrong, but when you actually start saying it out loud and singing it in your head, we used to make up our own words to songs all the time. I encourage that because when you read those words as poetry, see how those words make you feel. Take away the music, take away the fancy beat that makes you feel good. Read the lyrics as poems. How does that make you feel? Your subconscious doesn't know the difference. So when you sing songs, change the words to tell your subconscious brain what you want to hear. And I want to hear that I'm free and I'm ascending, and life is just a dream and you can enjoy it and ascend and have a lucid dream that you make your own reality. And that's why I like Yoko Kanno's Blue from Cowboy Bebop, sung by Mai Yamane, which is a very, very difficult song. Not for the faint of heart to try and sing. Um, Shout out to Breather Voice, and shout out to quitting smoking and alcohol, and shout out to, sobriety in general and good health. And most importantly, here in Minnesota, we've been dealing with the aftermath and the current, conditions of the air with the fires in Canada. So, that's still going on, and that's like right upstairs from where we are. And we get these weather alerts, and they're just like, stay inside. The weather's bad for your health, and yada yada. And um, so, shout out to Mullen because throughout this entire process, I have some mullein that I brew as tea and drink, and mullein is really great for the lungs. And despite everything that's going on and what I do for work on top of that, oh, don't get me started on my job. But through it all, I've been in good health. And shout out to herbal teas and mullein. If you guys can get some mullein tea, um, there's a place here in Minnesota that sells crystals and herbal teas, and they have and nettle leaf. I put nettle leaf in there too, and chamomile and elderberry and echinacea with lots of honey. And now I can still sing and breathe and do the things that I do, thanks to good health. So my Yamane is Blue from Cowboy Bebop, my take on it, on the piano and me singing as best as I can. Here we go. Never seen a bluer sky as I can feel it reaching out and moving closer. There's something about blue. I ask myself what it's all for. You know the funny thing about it, I couldn't answer. No, I couldn't answer. And things have turned a deeper shade of blue. And images that might be real may be illusion kept flashing off and on. Free. I wanna be free to move amongst the stars. You know they really aren't so far. I feel so free. I wanna know free, please. Don't wake me from the dream. It's really everything it seemed. I am so free. No black and white in the blue. Everything is clearer now. Life is just a dream, you know. It's never ending. As I'm ascending. I realized I had the wrong mics on, guys. I'm so sorry. That probably sounded really bad. I meant to have these mics on, not this mic. I need to. Do we dare do a redo of that? Is anybody even watching? As I talk as if there's anybody actually tuned in. Dude. I can just keep doing what I do. Woo!
If I could begin to do something that does right by you, I would do about anything. I would even learn how to love like you. If I could begin to be half of what you think of me, I would do
Good old Steven Universe. Good old Steven Universe. I need to watch that. It's been a while since I watched some Steven Universe. I've been on Bluey. That was weird. We're going to end there. We're going to end on that weird note. That last piece here at the end, that was really weird. So we're going to save this and call this a session. That last piece I can use as a bonus piece for my upper tiers. Every now and then I get these weird pieces. They're just like, what the F was that? What the heck was that? Like, what? What? Whatever. It is what it is. Live to YouTube and odd improv for bonus? Maybe. Yeah. So save that. We're in the right folder, right? 712. Yes. Okay. Oh my goodness. that's another day in my life, or a fraction of my day. The part where I processed audio and played some piano and recorded, and I think I got some more improvs and other stuff. I have some stuff in the backlog too in case I run out, but I'm trying to be more fresh with my instead of processing audio from months ago for my Patreons. I'm trying to do the newest stuff and make those the daily piano pieces, and then when I run out of stuff, I can start backlogging or using them as bonus tracks for the people on my upper tiers, like my Delightful Daisies and Rare Roses and stuff like that. So, yeah, thanks for tuning in. Anybody who tuned in for as short as you did, or Jeffrey Boyle, you're always here. Thank you so much for tuning in and interacting and saying what's up. I mean, I'm just here in the middle of nowhere, Wanamingo, Minnesota, doing my thing, and might as well go live and play piano while I'm recording and doing stuff for my daily piano. I know these live streams are kind of like random and weird, but it gets stuff done. I produce my audio, I get my MP3s made, I get to record and improvise and flow. And if anybody happens to tune in, I can work with other people's energies and say hello and not feel so alone while I do this work. I mean, I'm never alone. I have the fairies, and I have spirit, and I have ether, and I have all my stuffies and the different totems, and the goddesses and the plants, the spiders. I think earlier I saw a ladybug walking around somewhere, so she's somewhere. Him, whatever. Yeah. Thanks. Where's the button? Where's the button?